Hi, and welcome to a new episode of a Crafterstale podcast. And this episode is no regular episode, this is a question and answering episode. So I will answer all of the questions you ask me. And yes, so let's dive right into it. So the first question I received is, tell us about your life journey. Wow, that's quite a big question, but yeah, where to begin? Let's see. So I was born in Germany, in southern Germany, 1993 in May, together with my twin sister, and yeah, my mom got divorced from our biological dad when we were only one, and we moved into to my mom's parents, my grandma and granddad, and there we lived for a year. And then yeah, I think when we were about 3, my mom met my dad. So yeah, they got married, and he had a son, brought a son into the marriage, my little brother. Yeah, and then when we were 7, I think, they got my little sister. So we are 4 children. We are really a patchwork family, and I love it. So yes, and I went to Waldorf school in Germany, and yeah, a really great school. But I will tell you more about that a little bit later. Yes, and when I was 14 or 15, 14, we moved to Sweden. And yes, that's a totally different story why we moved to Sweden. Maybe I can take that a little bit later. But yes, after we moved to Sweden, I went to school in the little town Vimmerby. There we moved for 2 years, and then it was a normal school, no Waldorf school. But after 2 years, I really missed it. So I went to Kalmar. It's a bigger city where there was a Waldorf school. So I moved there when I was 17 and went to high school in Kalmar on the Waldorf school. So I moved out when I was 17 together with my twin sister. She went to a different high school, because in Sweden, after you graduate 9th grade, so 10, 11, 12, you can go, if you want, to how can I explain it? Yeah, you can go to a gymnasium that is that's difficult. Where you can learn different trades. So you can, for example, go to a cook school, or to a school where you learn how to do theater or singing or art, or yeah, social things, or yeah, different things. So there are different programs you can go, you can mix them as well. So on my Waldorf school there was nature, so there was a lot of biology, physics, chemistry. Then it was samhäll. I don't know the word in English. I will put it here so you can understand. So it's a bit about history, religion, politics, and then it was a big part was also art and yeah, art and craft, you could say. So I had these three programs mixed. So and on a Waldorf school you usually have a lot of different crafts. So I had everything from textile, woodcraft to blacksmithing, bookbinding. What more? We did a lot of things in the ceramics and silver smithing, or no, don't use it. To making jewelries in silver, and we made things in copper, and what more? Yeah, a lot of different things. So that was perfect for me, because I love everything to do with crafts. And yes, so after graduating, me and my ex-boyfriend back then, we went on a journey. We went to Hungary, because my granddad has a house there, and an orchard. Do you call it a wine orchard? Do you say that? And yes, so we visited him and went to Budapest, and then we went to Croatia with my granddad and his wife, and were there for a couple of days, and then they went home to Germany, and we went on our journey and to Italy. And then, but it was in autumn, so it was a really cold autumn. So it's because we thought we would stay in Europe and just backpacking through Europe, for Italy and Spain and France, but it was really cold and wet, so we decided to fly somewhere warm. So we bought tickets to Malaysia, and then we backpacked down to Rome, and it took about 3 weeks. We had 3 weeks to get down there, and we were at different cities on the way to Rome, and then we flew to Malaysia, and we were there for 5 weeks, I think, backpacking. That was really fun. It was fun and adventurous to learn about a completely different culture, and it was the first time I was away from home so far. So I had never left Europe before, so that was fun. And then we came back, and the following spring I started on the folk high school I told you about before, but it was in Sweden you have so-called folk high schools where you can go after you turned 18, and there are different courses you can go. There are folk high schools with you can basically do everything. There's gardening, singing, theater, yeah, textiles. There's everything you can imagine basically, and it's it's for free, so you only pay for your stay, so for your room and food, and for the material. And there, after you're finishing, after you're graduating, you don't get anything. So you don't, how do you say? It's not if you go. It's not the same as you go to a college or something, or a university. So you don't get a degree or something. So it's more free than that. So you don't only get diploma that you went this specific program. And yeah, so I was there for 2 years. The school I had, it's called Bäckedals Folkhögskola in Härjedalen. It's in northern Sweden, and yes, it was the best time of my life. It was really great. First year I went a textile course, so I learned everything how to shear a sheep, to spin the wool, to weave the wool, to knit. I didn't know how to knit, but yeah, to do everything to a finished garment basically. And then we also learned how to dye with natural dyes, and we learned how to prepare linen. So we grew linen and hemp, and we learned how to make them into fabric basically. So I did weave a little towel I made from the linen we have grown in the garden, so that was really fun. And maybe I can show it to you. I think I have it in the kitchen. So look at this, here it is. So I did spin all of the linen in this, except of the blue, on a spinning wheel. And yeah, it's the linen we did grow in the garden at the Folkets High School. So that was really fun, but it was so much work. It took me so long time to produce enough linen to make this little cloth. So but it's really precious to have, and yeah, and to have this knowledge how to do it, because it's really many steps. I don't want to go into it right now because it would take me an hour to explain everything, but yeah, it was really so I got so much knowledge from this year. And so after the first year was coming to its end, I decided to go another course there, and it's called Hållbar Kunskap. So it's translated, it means sustainable knowledge, I would say. So in this year I learned basically all about farming and farm animals. Yeah, the program was like about the farmer's year. So we started the year in autumn, and then we did everything what farmers would do in this time of year, and then we went year round. And so the year was a little bit longer than a normal school year, because we wanted to have all parts of year. So we needed the autumn, winter, spring and summer. So, and there was we did basically everything you can do, or your farmers did 100 years ago, and we learned almost all of it. And because it only was a year, so we couldn't dive in one particular thing, so you would learn it really good, but we did learn everything a little bit. And at the end of the year you could choose one thing you would really liked and dive into it and make it a project. So what can I say, we learned how to drive with horses, do you say that? And we were in the woods a lot, cutting trees with axes, and learned about that and how to make a timber for houses. And we learned how to care about different animals, about horses, sheep, cows. We learned how to milk, to hand milk cows and goats, and how to make cheese, and how to make jam, and how to butcher. We learned as well. We butchered 2 sheep, and then we got a reindeer from a nearby Sami village that we butchered. And we didn't, it was already without skin, so we just learned how to name the different pieces of meat. And yeah, that was not one of my favorite parts, but I think it's good knowledge to have. And then we learned how to tan hides, how to make them to leather, and how to make things from the leather we made. And what more? We learned how to make hay in the summertime. Yeah, lots of things. I could go on forever, but I think you get the picture of what this program was all about. And the fun thing was that we were 12 students, and I knew 10 of them already or 9 of them, because this was the first time. This was the first time this program existed. So they took in lots of old students from the school, from different programs. So because the school has, I went a textile program, then there's a blacksmith program, there's a tanning hides program, so leather making. Me. And then there is one program there everything is a little bit mixed, and it's called Människor Naturteknik. So it's from human nature techniques. So it's from Stone Age to today. So they learn everything, a little bit of everything. So we were students from all of these different programs. So I knew almost all of them, and then there were 3 new students. So it was really fun to have all your friends there. And one of my best friends, I said to her, apply to this program. I think it would be wonderful for you. So she was one of the new students, but I knew her already from high school, and yeah, and then were 2 more completely new students. So yeah, it was a fun year because we could decide a lot on our own how to create the program. So it was, yeah, so much fun. And yes, that was there I met my boyfriend Lucas, my partner. And yeah, after these 2 years, I moved home for a couple of months, and then I think it was there I started to carve my Nosti pins, because I needed something to do, but I knew I wouldn't stay there long enough to get a real job. So yeah, I did carve a Nosti pin for my mom, and she put it on her Instagram, and then people contacted her if they could order, and I thought, yeah, maybe not, why not? I could carve a few more, and then I did, and yeah, I just continued from there, because there were so many and they were interested, and then never stopped basically. So I have carved ever since, more or less. Yes, and me and Lucas, we lived in different places over the years, and I did lots of carving and had a little job here and there, but nothing big. And yeah, then 2019 I got pregnant with Saga, and so we decided to move to Germany, because my parents and my twin sister, they had moved back to Germany in 2018, and I really wanted their support when the baby came, so we decided to move to Germany for 1 year and be there. So we came to Germany when I was maybe 6 months pregnant or 5 months pregnant, I think. And yes, it was a really nice year to have them around and get so much support from my mom and my sister. And yeah, Saga was born in the house. We had a lovely home birth in the pool, in the birthing pool. It was a really mind-blowing experience, and I really loved it. And yeah, and when Saga was I think she was, I have to count, 6 months or 8 months old, we moved back to Sweden. And yeah, here we are. Right now we're living outside of Vimmerby again, and the plan is that we want to look for a house that we can have a garden and maybe have some chickens and maybe some sheep in the future. But yeah, that's right now. We are looking for a house, and then we will see how much animals we will get. But I want lots of animals. I love animals. So that's basically my life journey. Oh yeah, I forgot that I did the doula. I became a doula in 2018. So yeah, but I were only able to attend one birth, because then we moved to Germany and I became pregnant, and then Saga was born, so I didn't have the chance to be any more births. But yeah, I will talk about that a little bit later. So next question: what age was I when we moved to Sweden? I was 15 years old. Yes. And the next question is: did you find it hard to adapt to a new language and country? So yes, I think it was really hard to learn Swedish. Swedish is not such a hard language to learn, but I was really shy, really shy. So, and the Swedish people, they are not so open. It's hard to get to know them. It's hard to yeah, it's hard to talk to them if you are an outsider. And so when we started in school, basically nobody would speak to us, and that was really hard, because in Germany we had experienced that when there were a student from different country, we would try to help them learn German and show them everything, show them the school and the surroundings, and take them to town after school. Yeah, and that was a completely different experience, because the Swedes are not like this, most of them, and that's okay. If you get to know them, they are really yeah, really nice, but it takes some time to warm up. So it was really difficult, and when you are 14, 15, it's a difficult age as well, I think, because you're in the middle of, you're a teenager, and teenagers are not the easiest people to be around, and so it was really difficult. So yeah, nobody talked to us, or almost. There were some students who tried, but we were so shy as well, so I think it was not so easy to come forward to us, because we wouldn't, as me and my sister, we wouldn't talk, because we didn't dare to talk. I was afraid to say something wrong, and yeah, so it took about a year for us to come in and to really speak the language well. After 3 months, I think we could understand pretty much everything, but it took almost a year for us to really speak and really speak well. So it was, the first year was really hard, but then it got better, and yeah, so the second year was really great, and then it was only getting better. And the country, I think so. Except of the people, it's not so different from Germany. So when I was a child, I thought Sweden would be this cold country far up north, but yeah, it's in southern Sweden. It's pretty much the same climate as in southern Germany, because the winters are a bit longer and it's getting darker in wintertime, but other than that, it's pretty much the same. And yes, the cultures are not so different as well, I think. So I adapted to the country pretty well. It took me a little bit longer with the people, but yes. Next question. How did you learn to speak so good English? Well, thank you that you think that. I can tell you that I had English in Germany for 8 years, because yeah, we left for Sweden after the 8th grade, and we had a really terrible English teacher in Germany, so I didn't speak so much English when we came to Sweden. And then I had to learn Swedish, and all my English disappeared. It was just gone, because my brain didn't have room for 2 or 3 languages. So I had to relearn all my English. And the great thing in Sweden is that all the movies, the English movies, they are not translated. They're just with text, but that the speech is not translated as in Germany. In Germany, they translate everything into German. In Sweden, that's not. So I think I learned a lot by watching movies in English, in original language. And then in high school, we had a really great teacher. He only spoke English with us, and we had to speak English with him, because he could some Swedish, but he was not really good. So yeah, so that was one thing. And then I learned a lot. So my English improved a lot in writing and understanding, but not so much in speaking, but because I still was quite shy and I didn't dare to speak so much. So that's the key when you want to learn a language. You have to talk all the time. And I didn't do it a lot in school. So the first time I really talked was when I went to Edinburgh Yarn Festival. And there I met lots of English people or American people, and I had to talk in English. And the following year I went again to Edinburgh Yarn Festival, and then I went to Shetland and moved. I was 3 weeks on a farm and took care of the garden and the sheep, and with a lovely couple, and I only spoke English with them. So I think there did I learn a lot to talk more fluent. And then of course the podcast is a big part of my development in English, because when I started the podcast, if you watch the first episode, my English was not so great. And it was not so fluent, and now it's, yeah, I'm still not perfect in English, but it's getting better all the time, and I feel more confident to speak in English, and I'm learning new words all the time. So yes, that's my English journey. Next question is, now we come into some wood carving. So the question is, did you carve toys for your daughter? No, actually not. I have not carved anything for her. And that's a bit sad actually, because when I was pregnant, I really wanted to. I said to Lucas all the time, oh, I have to carve something for her, some nice toy, and I never did. I don't know. I did carve a little elephant for my sisters, a little girl, and that is somewhere, but I definitely think I will carve something for Saga sometime, but I don't know yet what it will be. Maybe when she's a little bit older and she can say, oh mom, I want to have a little wooden horse, then I will make it. But right now she's more interested with playing with all the things that are not toys. So and she's breaking a lot of things right now, so I think I will wait a little bit longer to carve, because it takes such a long time to carve something. And yeah, so I want her to appreciate it, and right now she wouldn't appreciate it, I think. So yes, but if I do carve some toys for her, I will show them to you in the podcast, absolutely. The next question is, where do I get the wood from that I carve from? So a lot of the wood I find myself in, so I never cut down a fresh tree. I'm using a lot of juniper, and here in Sweden we have a lot of juniper, and they're lying everywhere as wind-fallen junipers. And sometimes when I find a good one, I take it with me. And then, yeah, my uncle in Germany, he asked me if I wanted some wood, so I took some material with me from Germany that he had given to me. It was some linden wood or lime wood and chestnut, I think. And yes, and here in Sweden I have a really great guy that I'm ordering from, and he's getting it local from his own. I think he has his own forest, so I think he gets it from there. And it's a lot of birch I get from him, and I can buy it pretty cheap, and he can cut the pieces that I want in the right length and thickness. So he's really great to have. Yes, but I'm only using local wood, so I'm using a lot of birch, oak, juniper. Yeah, so these are the main woods I'm using. And right now I have a lot of lime wood as well, because I got a bunch of lime wood from my uncle. But yeah, I take what I get, and the most you can get here in Sweden is juniper, birch, and oak. That is good for carving. There's some maple, you can get some maple as well, but I don't like it so much. I like oak and birch better. So, next question. Is the wood fresh or dry? That's a good question. So, when I started carving, I carved a lot in fresh wood because it's softer, it's easier to work in than dry. But you have to consider that it cracks when it's dry, so if you dry it too fast. And so it would take me so long when I started on a piece that I was carving on, it would take me so long to finish it because I had to dry a couple of weeks. And yeah, so I got more and more into carving in dry wood because it would not crack anymore, and it's a little bit more difficult to work in, but yeah, you don't have to worry about that it cracks. Yes. Is there a wood carving artist you admire? Yes, actually there are several wood carving artists that I really, really like. There is, for example, Giles Newman. he's from Wales, I think, and he makes the most beautiful jewelry and some spoons, I think. And he's carving flowers and animals and really yeah, fine work. And yeah, he's incredible and good in wood carving. Go check him out if you don't know him. I will link down below. And then another one is, he's called Spawngossen on Instagram, I think, and he makes really beautiful things as well. And yeah, he has more a Swedish style, slate this is called, but yeah, he makes such things. Let me show you. So I don't know how to call them, but yeah, he makes these things, containers, and he makes spoons, and yeah, and really filigrane and nice details. And yeah, so if I need inspiration, I usually go to either Spawngossen or Charles Newman to get some inspiration. And yes, these are two of my absolute how to say, yeah, favorite wood carvers on Instagram. Next question is, what are your favorite children books? Oh, that's a difficult question, because I did carve. I'm still in the carving mode. I did read a lot when I was younger. I still like to read, but I don't have so much time anymore. But when I was younger, I did read all the time. And my favorite books, I can't tell you about a specific book, but my favorite books are fantasy. I almost only read fantasy when I was a child. And yeah, one of my favorites were like Harry Potter, of course. When I was a little bit older, Lord of the Rings, and then I don't know if you know them, but it's in German it's called Tintenblut. It's from Cornelia Funke, a really great author that I really like. I think it's called Blackheart or something like that in English. There's a movie as well, but the movie is really crappy, I think. But the books were one of my favorite books when I was younger. And what more? Yeah, fantasy. Anyways, lots of fantasy. And yeah, they're still my favorite genre of books, I think. Fantasy and history books I like as well. So that's that. The next question, now we come into knitting, is what technique do you use for your colorwork knitting? So I'm usually using the technique where you have, so I'm knitting continental style, where you have the yarn over your left index finger, and I usually have, if I knit colorwork with 2 colors, I have 2 colors over my left index finger. And if I knit with 3 colors, I may sometimes have the 3rd color over my right index finger, and sometimes I just have it hanging and then I wrap it when I come to that color. So that's basically how I do it. That has worked best for me. I've tried sometimes too, when I'm knitting colorwork with 2 colors, to knit with 1 strand of yarn on the left index finger and one thumb on the right. But yeah, it didn't work so good for me, so I'm much faster with both strands of yarn on my left finger, so that's that way I do it. When and how did you start knitting is the next question. When, I think it was about 6 maybe, and how, I think it was my mom that started to learn or show me and my sister how to knit. And I think I did knit a little bit before school, but then we did knit a lot in 1st grade. It's a big part of Waldorf school that you learn how to knit, and we knitted small animals, just a rectangle piece, and then you fold it in different ways to get a chicken or a seal or what more, a sheep. So we did different kinds of animals the 1st year, and yeah, I never had any problems learning to knit. I don't have a memory of learning how to knit. I just always were able to knit, I think. so I think my mom taught us how to knit before we went to school, I think so, but I don't really remember. Yes, then the next question. Books on my shelf. Do I have some favorites? Yeah, that someone will ask, because you always see the books behind me when I'm podcasting, so I thought I would show you some of my favorite books there. So I think I start by showing you the non-knitting related books, and one of my favorites is this book. It's about sheep. Får means sheep in Swedish, and this book is, yeah, it's about everything, different sheep breeds in Sweden, how to if you want to have sheep, how you have to calculate the area, how much area they need and how much food, and how to take care of them, and what food they need in winter, and yeah, so all about sheep. If you want to have sheep, you need this book. So I had it a couple of years, and I think it's a great resource. Yeah, when I have my own sheep someday, maybe, hopefully. Let's see. The next book is let's see, this book. It's about natural dyeing, and in this book specifically, it's dyeing with kitchen leftovers from cooking, and yeah, it's all from avocado dye, from carrots and black beans and red wine and cabbage, and yeah, so I have used it, have dyed some yarns with recipes from this book, and it's really fun, I think. Yeah, and it's from Lina Sofia Lundin. Mat and kläder i ett kretslopp. It means food and clothing in a circle, yeah. And the next book is also about dyeing, but indigo dyeing. In this book are different recipes for indigo dyeing, and the recipes for dyeing with natural indigo and with synthetic indigo, and how to dye, because in some recipes, when you're dyeing with indigo, you need a lot of chemicals, and in this book there are also recipes how to dye with non-chemicals. So for example with let's see, bananas, for example. I haven't tried that, but I really wanted to do it someday. And yeah, look if it's working. So that's a fun book. Used it a lot. Then let me see. Another book is this book. It's about wood carving. Wood carving in your home, basically. So there you have some great descriptions on how to carve a spoon or small, let me see, yeah, for cooking, like butter knives and yeah, all different things. And they're always giving you like you need an axe, a saw, and a knife, and for some things you only need a knife. And yes, it's a fun book to have. I can recommend it if you live in Sweden, understand Swedish. It's a Swedish book. And then a great book for doulas and for mothers, and yeah, is this book. It's called Die Hebammen-Sprechstunde. It's a German book, and it's Hebamme. It means oh no, midwife. Yeah, midwife. So the midwives know how to translate Sprechstunde, but yeah, there are lots of yeah, about everything when you are pregnant and after and before, and about babies, and you can find it here. It's a great resource. And then we have this as well, the great book about Heilpflanzen. It's I'm losing my words right now. Yeah, I will put it here what Heilpflanzen means. And yes, but here you basically can find everything from every plant and how to use it, basically, and what it can do for you, and yeah, what it can cure. And yeah, it's got it from my mom. Great book. And then of course everyone needs such a book when you have your own garden. It's this book. It means the kitchen garden. And yeah, I haven't used it so much yet because we haven't had a garden yet, but it's really great to have when you have your own garden. You grow your own vegetables. You can look everything up from what vegetables can be in the same, you can grow them together, and when to start the season, different vegetables. And yeah, great book. And then now we come to my knitting books. Let me see. So of course this book, the Line 52 Weeks of Socks. I have knitted only one pair so far from this book. It was the Erika socks, but I think the next sock I will cast on pretty soon. I will show it to you. Let's see if I find it. And here you have the Erika socks I have made. Let's see. No, not this one. It's marked different socks here. Yeah, this one called Stone, and I have the perfect yarn for it. I only have to cast it on. So yes, and then of course we have my knitting Bible, the Vogue knitting, and that's a great book if you are a designer and want to learn a little bit more, or starting to design, or just want a great book with tips and tricks. It's great to have. It's basically, you can look everything in here up on YouTube as well, but I think it's nice to have a book, and if you're not only, I will always have to look on the internet. And then I have some magazines, the Making Stories, really nice magazine. Really love the sweater. I think I will knit it sometime. And I have the Line, I think it's Line number 6. I have some more Line magazines, but I don't know where they are. And my latest book that I have inquired is Mina stickade project. That means my knitted projects, and you can, it's basically a revelry in book form, so you can write down your projects. Oh, Sagas awake. I think I will just take her down. So I'm back. Where yes, I talked about this book. So as I said, it's revelry in book form, and you can write down your yarn stash, your projects, and I think it's really beautiful. There's beautiful acrylic drawings in here. Yeah, it's a beautiful book. And then in the beginning you have some explanations and different yarn weights, and what notions you could use for knitting, and different yarns. So good to have, because I find it easier to write down my projects in this book than on Revelry for some reason. I don't know why, but so I like to write with a pen on paper. Maybe that's it. So really like this book. It's by, let me see, Erika Åberg, a Swedish designer and writer. And she's made some knitting books as well with patterns. Really beautiful. So yes, that's the last book I want to show you. And do we have any more questions? Let me see. Yeah, will you continue your doula training? Yeah, I mentioned that I became a doula in 2018, and I only attended one birth so far, and my own, of course. But yes, absolutely, I want to become a real doula, a certified doula, and for that I have to attend 3 births, and so I have 2 more to go, and then I can take a test or exam, and then I have can become a certified doula. Right now in Sweden, it's in many regions you can't be a doula. You cannot attend a birth in the hospital, because they only allow 1 person to be with the pregnant mother, the woman who gives birth. So, and that's often the partner. So yeah, it's a bit difficult to be a doula right now, because they can't be a doula. So yes, hopefully that will change soon with the corona situation, that so you can, I can start working again as a doula. And yeah, I wanted to wait as well because Saga is so young still, and it's difficult to just go and say, no, I have to go to a birth, bye bye. And I have to, yeah, you have to make sure that people around you are there that could take her if I would have to go in the middle of the night or in the day sometimes to a birth. So yes, but absolutely, I want to do more doula work. I want also to learn how to do pregnancy massage and baby massage, give courses in baby massage, and I want to learn that, so that it's a dream that will hopefully come true in the near future. Right now it's difficult because you can't go any training in such things. And then I have one last question, and that is, how was it attending Waldorf school, and how do you feel it's shaped you as a person? Oh, that's an interesting question. So it was really fun for most parts to attend Waldorf school, because it's on a Waldorf school they look more on the individual, so you can learn in your own time. So if you need more time, they can give you the time, and yes, you learn everything with your hands. So my Waldorf school in Sweden, we said from the hand to the heart to the head, basically. So you do have to do everything with your heart to get it into your head, and I think it's really great to look at it like this. And yeah, we had a lot of different crafts, and that was really my thing really to do. So I really liked most of the classes we had, because there was so much with your hands, and it's not for everyone. I have my little brother, he had it really difficult because he didn't like any handcrafts. He didn't like to do knitting or wood carving or gardening, so for him it was more difficult. But yeah, I really liked it, and I think it's really shaped my creative side. It made me more creative because I had the chance to be creative. In many schools today, I think the creativity is taken away from the children, and that it's really sad. And it's not quite as that on a Waldorf school, because you have more freedom to develop on your own, and yeah, develop your creative side as well. And in many schools your creative side is pushed down, and it's not the case on a Waldorf school. So yes, I think that's that I can say about it. And yeah, that was all of the question I have for you today. I hope you learned a little bit more about me. And yeah, I hope you like this episode, and I will record a normal episode soon, because I have lots of things to show you. So maybe I will do that tomorrow. We'll see. And yes, I see you soon. Have a great time. Bye.